Hey everyone, great to have you here. Something huge just went down. Elon Musk is officially stepping away from his government role. Yes, you heard that right. The same Elon Musk behind Tesla and SpaceX was actually leading a government task force to make major changes in how things run. Now that he's leaving, people are asking, what does this mean for us? Especially for Social Security and the government programs so many Americans rely on. Here's something surprising. Musk and his team claim they saved the government $130 billion in a short period. Sounds impressive, right? But that massive cost-cutting came with some serious consequences, especially for those trying to access Social Security benefits. So today, let's break it all down. What does Musk's exit really mean for everyday people like you and me? And what should we be preparing for? Stick around, because understanding these shifts can help you stay ahead of any changes. And hey, if you find value in these discussions, make sure to subscribe. It helps build a community where we stay informed and support each other. Now, let's rewind a bit. Earlier this year, President Trump brought Musk in to lead a new initiative called the Department of Government Efficiency, nicknamed DOGE. But this wasn't your typical government agency. It was more like a tech startup within the system, filled with engineers and business minds, with one goal: cut $1 trillion from government spending. They wasted no time. Contracts were canceled, government jobs were slashed, programs were shut down, and even federal assets were sold off. One move that caught a lot of attention was shutting down an $830 million online survey run by the Parks Department. Musk's team called it wasteful and scrapped it. But here's where things got messy. One of the biggest targets of these reforms was the Social Security Administration. DOGE claimed that billions were being lost due to fraud and inefficiencies, citing stories of benefits being paid to deceased individuals or duplicate payments. On the surface, that sounds like a problem worth fixing. But when you look at the actual numbers, the story changes. The Social Security Administration's Inspector General found that less than 1% of payments were incorrect. And even then, most mistakes weren't fraud. They were just overpayments due to system delays or human errors. In other words, the idea that Social Security was riddled with fraud wasn't really backed by facts. That didn't stop DOGE from making major cuts. And that's when real people started feeling the effects. Social Security offices became severely understaffed. Their website crashed multiple times. People trying to apply for benefits, ask questions, or even update their information found themselves stuck in endless wait times. It was already frustrating to deal with Social Security before, and now it became even worse. Now that Musk is stepping away, reactions are mixed. Some are relieved, hoping things will return to normal. Others are concerned. What if the damage has already been done? And more importantly, who's going to take over next? Massive changes like this don't happen without leaving a mess behind. Thousands of government employees were laid off, and now courts are ordering many to be reinstated. Judges even blocked DOGE from accessing Social Security's internal databases, saying they were looking at personal data without enough oversight. That raises serious privacy concerns, especially for those who rely on these programs to survive. Now, let's be fair. Some of Musk's ideas were aimed at modernizing outdated systems. For example, he pushed to digitize retirement records that were still being stored in a literal cave in Pennsylvania. But other moves happened too fast, without enough safeguards, and it led to chaos. At the end of the day, we all want a more efficient government. Nobody likes waste. We want our tax dollars to be spent wisely. But if reforms make it harder for a senior citizen to get their Social Security check, or for a disabled person to get the assistance they need, then that's not fixing the system. That's breaking it in a different way. This also brings up a bigger issue: trust. Trust in government programs. Trust in leadership. Trust that if you fall on hard times, there's a safety net to help you. When Social Security becomes the testing ground for political experiments, it makes a lot of people uneasy. And honestly, who can blame them? Another big question is, what happens next? Musk believes most of his reforms will remain in place, but that depends on who takes over, what Congress decides, and how the public reacts. Will we see lawsuits? Will some of the cutbacks be reversed? Or will these changes be permanent? But the most important question is, how does this affect you? If you rely on Social Security now or expect to in the future, this is the time to check your records and make sure everything is in order. If you've been facing delays or trouble getting help, you're not alone. It's happening nationwide. And while we hope services improve once DOGE is out of the picture, there's no guarantee. If you're not on Social Security yet but are planning for retirement, this should be a wake-up call. While Social Security is an essential part of retirement for many, it shouldn't be your only plan. Having personal savings or retirement investments can help you stay financially secure no matter what changes happen in the future. Also, keep an eye on other government services. The Department of Veterans Affairs, Medicare, and federal housing assistance were also being reviewed by DOGE, even if they didn't make as many headlines. If you or your loved ones rely on these programs, you might start seeing longer wait times or stricter eligibility rules. And here's the real takeaway. When we talk about government spending, it's easy to think of it as just numbers on a spreadsheet. But behind those numbers are real people, people with families, struggles, and lives that depend on these services. If changes aren't made carefully, the most vulnerable people end up paying the highest price. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Have you noticed any changes when dealing with Social Security recently? Do you think government should be run more like a business, or do you worry that approach ignores the human side of public service? Drop a comment below, and let's discuss it. And if this helped you understand the situation better, consider sharing it with someone who might be affected. The more we stay informed, the better prepared we are to handle whatever comes next. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Keep asking questions, stay aware, and take care of yourself and your loved ones.